The figure of a woman in a red dress on Mount Rinjani. Mount Rinjani has always been an attraction for climbers, with stunning views and challenges that test their courage. However, behind its beauty, there are scary stories that are still a mystery to this day. One of them is about the figure of a woman in a red dress who often appears on the climbing route. A climb that turned tense. That night, a group of 5 climbers, Ryan, Dika, Santi, Leah, and Bayu, rested in a flat area after passing through a fairly steep route. The night sky was so clear, and the sound of the wind blowing made the atmosphere feel calm. However, in the midst of their laughter, suddenly the sound of footsteps was heard from the bushes behind them. The steps sounded soft, like someone walking barefoot on sandy ground. "Leah, do you hear something?" whispered Santi while holding her friend's arm. Leah nodded. "Yeah, it feels like someone is walking behind us." Bayu, who realized the tension, immediately shone his flashlight towards the bushes. However, there was no one there. "Never mind. Maybe it's just an animal," said Ryan, trying to calm them down. They started talking again, but the atmosphere was no longer the same. The night wind that had previously felt cool, had now turned piercingly cold. The woman in the red dress. Around 1 in the morning, Dika, who was about to urinate, moved a little away from the tent. He walked towards the more open bushes and turned on his flashlight forward. However, just as the light from his flashlight shone into the distance, he saw a woman standing still in the middle of the path. Her dress was long and red, fluttering slowly in the wind. Her long hair was loose, covering part of her pale face. Dika choked. His body immediately froze. Who? His voice trembled. The woman did not answer, but slowly raised her head. What was seen was not an ordinary human face, but a pale face with pitch black, empty eyes. An unnaturally wide smile spread across his lips. Without thinking, Dika immediately ran back to the tent, his breath short. "Wake up! Wake up!" he shouted while shaking Ryan and Bayu's bodies. Everyone woke up in panic. "What's wrong, sis? There's a woman. She saw me. She smiled, but she's not human." Before they could respond, suddenly a soft laugh was heard from outside the tent. The laugh was soft, but it was clearly audible in the silence of the night. Santi immediately cried in fear, while Leah covered her ears. Bayu, with trembling hands, turned on the flashlight and peeked out of the tent. There was no one. However, when the flashlight was directed at the ground in front of the tent, they all held their breath. There were wet bare footprints, as if someone had just walked around them. That night was the longest night of their lives. Back with trauma. The next morning, they immediately went down without saying much. No one wanted to discuss what they experienced last night. However, when they arrived at the rest post and met the trail guard, they finally dared to ask. Hakamir, a senior guard, just took a deep breath when he heard their story. "You're lucky she only showed herself," he said in a serious tone. "The woman in the red dress is not just any ghost. She is the spirit of a climber who disappeared years ago. It is said that she performed a pesugihan on Mount Rinjani and made sacrifices in order to gain wealth. But when she tried to go down, she got lost and was never found." All the climbers looked at each other, goosebumps hearing the story. "And now, she is looking for friends," Hakamir continued. "So that she is not alone on this mountain." They were speechless. All they knew was that they would never return to Mount Rinjani again.